and they have temples in Fresno, Arizona, and San Jose. And,
Minnesota.
Minnesota. So they come together as a little group, and I work with them very closely, and we have things that we're going to be doing in India together.
Yep.
So, do you have any questions about mind, about meditation, about happiness, about stress, about judgment, self-judgment, anything that they feel comfortable, because their mission, they're serving for all beings. They want to share what they understand.
I think we better talk something first
Okay.
to make them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, me too. I just don't know which one to pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so one question I was just starting with is this sometimes we have doubt on ourselves, or we have self-judgment, a critical voice in our head that says, oh, we're not good, oh, it could be better. And I see this more and more in this culture, the sense that we're not really loving this being, So I wanted to ask him about that, what he was saying, how much you see that too, right?
Yeah.
And what would the Buddha say to that?
Yeah, it is general problem that we can see in this world, that we see a lot of problem happen in high schools and the public area, that many some students that they commit suicide, and also they kill other students, and most report they say that they have mental problem.
Mm-hmm.
According to Buddhism, mental problem, everyone have mental problem, everyone, because the mind, we can say mentality or mind, it is just only the pure thing, the only thing that pure, but this mind was spoiled by the mind's condition, mind distraction. We call cetasika, the something spoil the mind, or something emerge with the mind. And among those things,
Emerged is like something that touched the mind,
yeah,
right? Touched or
integrated,
polluted.
yeah, polluted, yeah.
So mind is pure.
Yeah. And the bad side of that cause, they can cause the mind, because cetasika, there's something happened with the mind, something spoil the mind, or something
Maybe karmically.
yeah, attack to the mind,
Yeah.
because the mental
Defilements.
cetasika, we call the mental
Factors.
yeah, mental factor. We have 52 of them. Among 52, only 14 are unwholesome, are bad thing. We call bad thing,
14.
unwholesome. Only 14. And these 14 started with love, desire, dosa, hatred. These two, we have another 12, but these two are only one, like dosa, hatred. When the hatred arising in your mind spoiled, and the mind is because the mental problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because when those hatred happening in your mind, your body was shaking, and you cannot think it, you cannot see the reality, because those have
It disturbs you, right?
Yeah, disturb its nature.
It disturbs the emotions,
Yeah.
right? So when the mind is pure,
Mhm.
right? But when we have a feeling of hatred,
Mhm.
it disturbs the emotions.
Yes,
Right.
it is the like the Buddhas compare to the spoiling water, boiling water. So when the water was boiled, then the water so shaking,
Yeah.
crumbling. You cannot
Control.
see the real thing what they are in that water. So those or hatred mean when it appear in your mind is like shaking and hot, very hot, and cannot control. You cannot control yourself. For example, when you angry somebody, you going to look at the mirror. You will see something different, somebody different. So when you smile, you're good mood. When you angry somebody and you go to see the mirror, you will see
Mhm.
different.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that is because of those hatred
Mhm.
and other hindrances like kama chanda, the desire, sensual desire. The mind is pure, but when you clinging, when you grasping, when you desire much to other thing, you cannot see something really. We compare like the water. The water is pure water, but when you put color with with a red, blue, or yellow color to the water, you cannot see the real water and something in the water. Our mind also the same. Our mind is pure like the water, but when we desire something outside, going to club or making something
Drinking
happy,
or-
yeah.
Yeah.
So our mind is spoiled. You see that adults or teenager they went to club, they go to club and then they dancing, drinking because of clinging, right? Because of the desire, craving, and this craving, desire, hindrance their mind cannot think the reality,
Mhm.
so they don't understand themselves. They cannot control themselves.
Mhm.
Somebody affected to the drug
Mhm.
to spoil their life and to ruin their life because of desire, because of clinging, needing something, greedy
Mhm.
by cannot control.
So just on that pausing moment of the clinging, when you have that sense of being really attached to something, you can sense it, right? You can know the tendency. It's like you're almost gravitational, magnetically
Yeah.
drawn to it. You don't even think about it.
Yeah.
You're just there, right?
Yeah.
So that is, we have to become more self-aware at that moment when that happens.
Mhm.
We become more and more aware of ourselves, so that we know ourselves better.
Yeah.
Because we're not so aware sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We did
Self
not realize.
understand.
We do not realize
Mhm.
most of the time,
Mhm.
90% of the time,
That's why, when people are angry, they do something that they
they
expect.
don't know. They don't
They
know.
don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes they kill someone because of angry.
Yeah.
So they did not aware themselves what they are going to do.
Yeah. So we become more self-aware. That's really important.
That's why the
Self-awareness.
Buddhas let us to do meditation
Mhm.
in order to control our minds, to aware what we are now. We have to know how to satisfy with the presence.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we cannot control.
Yeah. Yeah. And control is the same of kind of being more self-aware. So we're pausing a bit before we get into it, whatever that is.
So would be self-awareness kind of the solution to the boiled water? Like when you feel hatred or desire or attachment, once you become aware of it, I think it already helps
Yeah.
with the hatred and or attachment, but sometimes you still feel it though.
Yeah.
You're aware but you still feel it. So what would you do in that moment?
When we angry somebody or hatred appears in our mind, if we are self-aware, we just aware that we don't want to torture ourselves, don't want to ruin ourselves, because when hatred appears in our mind, even our mind, our body was burned by the fires of hatred, and did it suffer now? Imagine that when you're angry, so your mind is not balanced, right? Your mind is shaking and your body difficult. You suffer because of hatred.
Mhm.
So you think of it. You know the reason. You know the reason. The result of angriness. You know the results of hatred.
Mhm.
When the hatred appear in mind, they will ruin your life, even yourself, and also the
The
friendliness,
outside.
the outside. Other people will not go in to you, right? Because they are afraid your angriness. When angriness come, your devil is not Sina anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's,
So you have to know that, and then you imagine if there is next world, the angry people never go to the good place, right? You go to very low, very bad place, very bad system. Like if you believe in hell, like the hell or downfall, yeah. So that's why we aware ourselves that, oh, I don't want myself to engage with those things.
Mhm.
I afraid myself, because if you love yourself, if you aware yourself, you not engage with it. When a hatred appear in your mind, oh, this is not good, so don't come. Like you go to the store, or you go to somewhere. If the good thing come to you, just take it, just collect it, right?
Mhm.
If the bad thing, you discuss.
Just leave it or let
So
it.
when you know that object clearly, hatred or desire coming to mind is for your mind. So it's not good, so I don't want.
Mhm.
I need only good flower. If you go to the garden, you need good flower, smell flower,
Mhm.
but something that
It's
stings,
not good, yeah.
so get away.
You leave it out.
Yeah,
You leave it out.
Just
Just
don't,
concentrate.
just don't hold it.
Yeah.
For example, like even the small things, very bad thing, like you really don't want it, I don't want to hear it,
Mhm.
but you keep thinking about that.
Mhm.
It's some kind of holding thing.
Holding
Even a
it.
small thing,
Mhm.
but day by day it become heavy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it kind of is down. So you even you stay here, but you also have the problem.
Inside.
Yes.
Any advice about letting go?
Mhm.
You know, because that one little thing
Mhm.
that happened long
In the
time
past,
can
yeah.
still be with you
Yeah.
and still kind of heavy on you.
Yeah.
How do you just let it go? I mean, it's one thing to say, oh, just let it go,
Yeah.
but
Easy to
easy
say.
to say,
Yeah.
but
But hard.
hard to do.
In Bhattikarata Sutra, about the one prosperous night that the Buddha teach. There is 4 sutras together in Majjhima Nikaya. We call Bhattikarata Sutra. In one prosperous night, that the Buddha said the same thing, and at the beginning about don't cling or don't suffer in the past. Don't live in the past. Don't dreaming in the future. Satisfy with the present moment. So when you understand the reality, you don't, now you are living in present, right? You're not living in the past. You're not living in the future, but you're living today and now. So something that happened in the past is already gone. It's already gone. It's not coming with you right now, and it's not going to with you in another day. So past is gone. Future is not coming yet. Only present moment that we have to pay attention, that we have to live with, to make ourselves better and better. So when the present is good, the present is the mother of the future. No need to dreaming much about the future and without any do any action in the moment. So just abandon what is past. even though the past is just only experience, you experience both good and bad. Just only experience, we call live experience.
Mhm.
So this live experience just teach you what to do in the present moment. You don't need to live, you don't need to go back and live with the past. When you concentrate it again and again, the word let's go is coming.
Yeah, yeah, that's so true. That's so true. Does that make sense? Because like the question of let it go is kind of almost like a future wish. Oh, let it go. But what he's saying here is that we don't even need to say that because we're really here in the moment, expressing that aliveness in that moment
Yeah.
and bringing the good in the moment. Because the good in the moment will inform the good in the future. You know?
That's why the Buddha mentions in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta about the four foundations of mindfulness. He asked the disciple to focus on mind, about the mindfulness, being mindful every moment, like you are sitting, you are walking, you are speaking, or you are doing something. Just be aware. When the mind is within oneself, the Buddha said 4 points: Kaya, Vedana, Chitta, and Dhamma. Kaya means the body, to mindful in body, from your feet to your hair. So mindful, don't let your mind go out beyond the body. So when the mind is focused in the body, the mind is good, mind is trainable. When the mind is pure and good, you can understand something clearly. Like the water, when all the defiled things like color get taken out,
Removed.
they removes, and when the cohesion, the water is hot, when the
Calms down.
it's calmed down,
Yeah.
you can see something clearly. This clear mind can understand the real object. The real object here is a little bit higher than anicca, dukkha, and anatta. So non-self, nobody for doing something, just only mind. Mind is everything. So it is when your mind is in body, the mind will not go to pick this thing outside. Just focus on oneself. It is called mindful in body. Even though in mindful in feeling, mindful in mind, mindful in mental object, also in the same process. So that's why when the Buddha asks us to meditate on mindfulness, on the breathing in and out. So when you focus on your breathing in and out, you don't let your mind going outside. The mind will come, and when the mind comes, you can see everything clearly. That is how to learn, and also recall to your question, how Buddha Kosa can remember everything. They tested him 3 different occasions, and he still write the same article, the same, never miss any one word, because his mind is focused, his mind is calm. Everything is the same, right? So like the page of book, when everything is the same, nothing to colors it or removes it or erase it, so it's still the same, right? But when this book, the color or some children take it to remove it, erase it, somebody when we write again, sometimes we cannot write the right one, right? So the mind is also the same. When your mind is clear, your mind is calm, your mind is trainable, everything is the same. Because mind means to save everything like the memory stick. When you save data in memory stick, it's still the same. Unless some virus to attack it. Yeah, when no virus to attack, you have the antivirus, your data is still safe. Mind also, when your mind, when you have your mindfulness. When you mindful everywhere, no and no other armies from outside to attack your body as a city. So body city. So other army cannot attack your city. So you protect very well. Your city protect very well, and all the property inside the city are safe and still the same.
So I would just add to that, this morning I was thinking about this word path of seeing. Path of seeing, because I was imagining like a mirror, you know, when we look at every experience,
Yeah.
we can look at ourselves clearly, like as a mirror. Even our speech, even as you said, our body and
Yeah.
our thinking,
Yeah.
we need to see clearly.
Yeah, sure.
And when we see clearly, that becomes the self-awareness, the path to seeing. And that's almost like a door, a kind of curious door into understanding ourselves. You know, it's kind of fun because we
Yeah.
get to see ourselves so intimately, so clearly. We can see ourselves in everything that we do. So our speech and what we are thinking, we cannot hide from that. We shouldn't, everything is included in that because it's kind of curious what comes up. We can see clearly.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It is yeah.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Oh, excuse me. It's probably Richard. I'm sure it's Richard. No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, it comes to the to the same thing, to the same point. Every sutra and Buddha's teaching from interpret to everything, we can say about the right understanding. Right understanding is a main, the last one that from self-awareness or understand the real natures or everything. So finally, self-understanding, right
I
understanding.
see.
Yeah, we
That's
call
the last one?
Yeah, the last one we call samadhi. Samadhi means the right understanding in the noble eightfold paths. So when you understand clearly, you will go another first step. Because in Buddhism, the Buddha said in his final days of Parinibbana, he said there is only 4 recluses or shramanas in Buddhism. No others, no in other religions. Only in Buddhism have 4. Yeah, it's, yeah, only in Buddhism we have these 4 monks. We can say monks. No in other religion. The first monk is the first stream enter, and the second monk who just come only in this world only one time, and the third never come back to this world anymore, and for this arahant. So these 4 monks never found in other religion.
Wow.
And the first stream interest means those who see something clear, who understand the real nature. What are the real natures? It is dukkha, it means suffering. The truth of suffering. The truth of suffering, you have to understand. Why we need to understand? Because we
Georgie,
cannot change.
I'm with
For
4 of us
example,
right now. I can't
you
do it
born
right
in
now,
this
but
world.
Is
With
it possible
born,
if your dad could
you
do it?
have many
'Cause I'm with five.
legacies like
Oh.
old age,
Okay.
like decay, like
Okay.
death, like separation
Yeah.
from your beloved one, like meeting with somebody that you
Oh,
don't love,
yes, I know
and you
you're-
lost in
yeah.
something, and when you want something and you cannot get it along, it is also something.
Okay, well maybe
So
your
those
dad
things
could
you have
just
to
fill it out
understand. It is
for
the
me to
reality
sign on
in
it.
this world. When
No, but he
you
can sign for me.
when you
He can
understand
sign
it,
for me.
and
Just tell
we
him
just
to sign
let
it,
it go.
because I can't
It
get
not
into my
affect to
notes
us.
right
Right? Just
Yeah.
only nature,
now. Oh,
born,
yeah. Could
decay, old age,
And then, are
You cannot
gonna
change,
talk
right?
about
You
what
cannot
just
stop.
shared with me, or?
you cannot stop old age. You cannot
Yeah.
stop
So
death.
does that mean that you
Because
actually?
born and you born, you have to do, you have to get it. This is we call dukkha. It means suffering or lamentation or unsatisfactoriness. We cannot find the word, the right word in to translate that Buddha's word dukkha. It means cannot bear, cannot tolerance, because it's changing. Dukkha means cannot stand in the same place. For example, you born, you never never get as a child forever. You have to change to be from fetus to toddler, from toddler to child, from child to teenager, young adults, old adults, adolescent and adult, young adult, old adult, and to old. So it is changing. That's why the Buddha said it's not belong to us. It cannot stand in the same time because impermanent. Because of its changing, there is suffering, dukkha. Because of the dukkha that we cannot change, that means not belong to us, beyond our control, right? It is mean anatta, non-self. Non-self means beyond our control. We cannot control, we cannot change the reality. So when you understand this dukkha, you have to find why it is suffering. What is the cause? Why it's like that? Why I born? Why I became? Why I dead? You have to find the root, the cause of suffering. Because there is suffering, there's something may be the cause of suffering. And then the Buddha said, dukkha samudaya, the cause of suffering or the arisings of suffering, that refers to three dhamma, three desires, three cravings. It means the sensual craving and the existent craving and non-existent craving. So these three craving, it means you are touched with the word, three words. Then desire word, like a human word, or in the downfall world, that we love this world, we love to born again and again, you are touched with this thing. That is called kama tanha, the sensual desire. And also there is the existent world, that like the Brahma world, that they are tired, that they have touched with this world. They may be, oh, as a human being, this is very short living and suffer, we have to eat, we have to go to bathroom, we have to wash, we have to take baths, and this is very massive thing. They are tired, and then they practice meditation, they got jhana, it means absorption, and then they born in Brahma world. Brahma world is nothing related to eating, the soft, the tangible thing. They just experience and happiness with it. But in Buddhism, they said this realm of Brahma was still suffering because it's changing. It cannot stay for a long time. So that's why these three tamaha, three craving, is the cause of suffering. When you attach with the world, you have to come again and again. So detach from the world is the the cessation of suffering. Imagine that if there is no suffering, if there is no decay, there is no old age, if there is no death, how beautiful is it? But how can?
If there's no suffering, let's
Yeah.
just imagine
How
that
can-
for 1 minute.
So-
Wow, no suffering.
Yeah, through experience, yeah, you can practice and experience like meditation.
Yeah.
If you can calm your mind, if you meditate for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you can experience happiness.
Yeah.
The happiness is nothing. People misunderstand. People always base on other things to get happiness. Oh, if I get this luxurious car, I will be happy. If I get this luxury phone, good phone, the new version of phone, I will happy. So our happiness based on material thing. This
On
is
the
not,
external.
yeah, external thing. It's not the real happiness. But when you meditate and experience the happiness that arrives from nothing, not attachment, this happiness will, yeah, I don't know how to tell you that happiness, but if you practice, you will see the happiness of nothing is the more happiness than other things.
Isn't that funny?
I
Yeah.
like the
Isn't that
saying,
funny?
like happiness is nothing. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why many people doubt that in Buddhism, especially in Theravada, they say go to Nibbana. And they said that Nibbana is absolute happiness. But they said, how can be absolute happiness if Nibbana is nothing? But I watched American film, like the American kid, they test the fruit. You see, American kid, they test the durians.
Durian.
Yeah, durian, and the teacher said that durian is the king fruit in Asia. and the kid said, how can Asian people consider durian as the king fruit? There are good fruit like apple, like peach, like something is a good fruit, and the durian is very bad fruit. It is the same thing. If you don't taste the durian, you don't know how it is.
Yeah.
And the test of happiness, the real happiness of nirvana is the same thing. Just compare, not the same, just compare. But when the educated people among the experience happiness, they don't want to be engaged with many things, just only by themselves, and happiness
Go to the forest,
Yeah.
have one bowl.
Yeah, maybe one bowl, or just
That's
being
enough.
quiet, I mean,
Yeah.
like, the mind being quiet, the mind really finds some peace there, when you're internally quiet.
Yeah.
Internally quiet.
So that is understanding, like I start to tell you to understand the reality, right? The reality, the truth. So we got the truth of suffering, the truth of arisings of suffering, and the truth of cessation of suffering, and the last one, how we can go to that place. That's why the Buddha mentioned about eightfold
Eightfold
paths. Noble Eightfold Paths about right understanding. The first right understanding. First right understanding before judging something. Sometimes people judge the book just only
By its cover.
its cover. So in Buddhism, we ask to read and understand. That's why in the quality of the Dhamma, the Buddha said, Ehipasiko. Ehipasiko means come and see. Buddhism not push somebody to believe, not ask somebody to believe, but come and see. You come, study and practice, and you will understand. If you not practice, you just hear about Buddhism and you Buddhism is good, or Buddhism like it. It's just only saying, you not practice, but come and see, come, learn and practice, you will get the real thing. You will get
So
the real
true.
thing.
So it's so practical.
Practical.
Very practical, and we can use our own life, our moment to moment to see clearly. That's like what the major gift is to understand. Yeah. More questions? Anyone? Natasha?
When you when you practice this being happy with nothing, or being happy alone and not wanting to engage with people, but sometimes you have to engage with people, or you want to engage with people, like
Sure.
is it still when you're in that space, or how do you engage when you're in that space of quietness and
Mhm.
happy loneliness, how do you still engage with
Yeah.
people?
You know, in Buddhism, there is one man very famous about we call 10, 10 rules of happiness. Because his name is Mantaniputra. He came from the same country of the Buddha birth. Mantaniputra, he is famous about the teaching about 10 points of happiness. And among the 10 points, one point we call Sangsaka. Sangsaka means to integrate, to relate it to somebody. So there is two categories of relationship. So one between both yourself and one in outside. Even though you stay alone or you stay with people, when you are aware yourself, when you satisfy with yourself, even though you living in the middle of crowded people, you still alone. You still happiness, you still alone. Because you are by yourself. And when you engage with people, also just only our friends. In Metta Bhavana also the same. If one concentrate and practice Metta Bhavana, it means mindful, loving kindness, giving friendliness. Everyone, for example, here, if you sit, you close your eye and see it in the middle of us. You never worry that we will do something disturb you or tutor you or steal some your belonging, because we are friends, right? We practice metta friendliness, loving friendliness. So we don't worry about it. It means even though you live with the companies of people, but you like alone, but safe. You feel confident. Everyone is not engaged with you, but you are with them. In the opposite way, if you are not practice metta loving friendliness, even though you stay with other people, you are not alone. You are afraid of something. And if you go to alone, you go to the forest, you are alone, but your
Mind
fear
is not
within your mind. In Vattupama Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya, the Buddha tell about the duty of the monk who want to live in forest safely. The monk advised about the mindfulness and also the morality. You have to clear your mind and body, because when you are not engaged with bad thing outside, you have no fear within yourself. Even though you live alone, if you are not good virtue, not practicing loving kindness, you feel. You feel like when you close your eye, you feel somebody coming to you. Come with this or something or animals or anything come to you to attack you. Sometimes just wind just fall you down, because your mind is not balanced, not controlled. It is disturbed from within, from your defilement, from your unvirtuous. So that's why these two things are the same. If your mind is controlled well, whether you live in the middle of many people or you live alone, are the same. If your mind is not controlled, even though you live alone or you live with people, are the same.
Alone in here, that's not mean the Buddha did not allow you to contact the other people. So
I
Buddha,
have a question for you.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I've been studying Dharma for a few years.
Okay.
And my question is, you're in Fresno and in these areas.
Yeah.
If Buddha was alive today,
Yeah.
if he was the president of the US,
Okay.
You know.
just let me finish.
Yeah.
How would he practice loving kindness with everybody?
Good. You know, before he enlightened, the Buddha come to the world. And 1,000 years before Buddha's coming to the world, there is the school and teaching about the 32 characteristics of the noble man. If somebody content with these 32 characteristics, he has only two directions. One, if he ordained, he will become a Buddha. If not ordained, he will become the universal monarch. Universal monarchs mean rule the world without violation. And there is many stories related to the universal monarch. He goes to everywhere, all the country come to be his company without any violation, without any fighting.
Conflict.
Yeah, conflict. So I answer you, if the Buddha until today, also the world will be peaceful.